All right, let's crush it.
Let's crush it. Okay.
We can't crush it.
Of course we can. We're about to right now.
Hit the light
Can we start?
and get that stuff out of here. Like I don't know, hit the light, whatever that is. Get that out of your system.
You hear the light switch?
You
It's
being
time.
extra. If you gonna announce the light switch, you don't gotta like come on now. Let the light switch speak. That's how they know it's lights out.
I know what time it is.
All right, let's get into
We in it.
actual form.
An original late night podcast. We're back. How's everybody doing?
What is this episode 19?
Yes.
It's not 20
No.
because I honestly I don't know which one.
I guess we'll find out.
But yeah, we're back. Another week, another day, another night, another dream. I mean, you probably got the same dream if you've had that same dream since you were maybe a kid, but as dreams unfold, I feel like God adds to our dreams. So, another dream. If you're still dreaming, that's all that matters.
Yep. That's right.
But how do you feel? How are you feeling tonight?
I am feeling invigorated. Actually, the word I would like to use is just refreshed.
Can you define both of those for us, please? Just in your own words. Like, not, yeah.
Yeah, invigorating and refreshed for me right now, meaning just feeling brand new. I feel like I have on a new, what do you call it? I don't know, new everything. A new lens to look at life through, a new way of thinking. I feel like I'm breaking more into the person I'm supposed to be that feels new when you're like stepping outside of who you're used to being, knowing that it's probably not your best or highest self. So,
So I hear you using these, I would say, somewhat maybe more fragile terms, but not in a negative sense.
mhm.
Because I mean, fragile can be expensive as well, or that term is associated sometimes with expensive things. But would you say that with you saying new lens, feel like you're breaking into, this new space? You feel like it's a delicate place, like not necessarily just for you, but when somebody comes into that kind of new, maybe place, and for you, I'm just listening to the words. And delicate don't have to be bad either. Just delicate meaning like almost like you have to protect that.
um, you know what?
Or how would you describe it?
I wouldn't say delicate only because I feel like if we're talking about if I'm talking about the old version of myself,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the delicate landscape. That's the delicate environment. That's the person I'm protecting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I feel like you don't have to be as delicate when you develop your confidence.
But you said coming into a new though. I'm not saying you're not there. I feel like we're always renewing. But
But it feels more like
is that never a delicate place for anybody?
I'm not saying it's never not, but for me, I just feel like it just feels more like I jumped into the pool and it's a sunny day.
Yeah.
And when you get from back up under the water, you feel the breeze on your skin, but
Yeah.
it feels good because you're just in the water. Like the sun doesn't burn you the same way. It's a cooling. You're just like that's how I feel. It's like it's
Even though that sounds like a recipe for
it,
for sunburn. Maybe not the darker you are, but
it just doesn't
still
hit
can
the
happen.
same way.
But I get what you're saying. I mean, I asked just because the words you were using, I feel like that space could be a space that might be delicate just because it's uncharted territory, maybe for somebody, maybe not for you. Again, I feel like you've gone down this path of growth. This is not your first time being renewed, probably. But for someone else, it's probably not theirs either, but it might be somebody else's first time, maybe, and more intentionally going down the path, you know, or I don't know, but I feel like as you were talking, I was just wondering to myself, like, is coming into a new found place of breakthrough, of seeing things in a new light, is that ever like a delicate place? And delicate, maybe even like I said, meaning like you said about maybe the what the past is to you, is that ever something that we have to protect or be more so mindful of? But I definitely get what you're saying. I just feel like I could see that being delicate for some, because it's like if somebody could easily maybe approach them in a way that maybe causes them to say, you know what, I'm going back,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because they're not confident and sure yet. So maybe I guess it just depends on where you are process.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree that it can be a delicate place. Because once you do realize it's something you want to step into, I do think at that initial point it is something you have to protect. But we have to get past the all the protective mechanisms at some point to just make sure that we actually develop the confidence to be that person.
Yeah.
Um, Not that we still don't have protecting to do, of course. And like you mentioned earlier about just being vigilant and watching our surroundings. And
That was before we got on here.
yeah,
You bring, you bring,
earlier in the day,
you bringing my personal
just a little
to
bit.
the now.
Um, but at some point, again, we just have to be able to develop that confidence,
Yeah.
at a certain point. And that's how I feel. It's work for sure, but I'm more willing to embrace the work that it will take to be confident. I guess that's why it feels more invigorating than it does feel like me protecting it. Um so yeah, how are you?
I'm doing good. Um, I think I need to get to the place you're at, but at the same time, I'm always looking to grow, aiming to grow. So I think today, um, I would say I'm in a place where I've found maybe like a new, I guess, spark to take another step or take hopefully many steps forward to like really accomplish some things, but not just like to-do list accomplishments, but um even just in like, I mean, similar to what you said, just even in like my outlook, you know. Like I don't think
Yeah.
that I'm not walking in doubt really ever, unless, I'm letting my emotions or the literal circumstance in front of me determine like what I think in that moment. But I think overall, like I have a optimistic, view of things.
Mhm.
I always believe like and have faith that it's gonna happen as it should, and that really the best possible outcome is never off the table, no matter what it looks like. But
Yeah.
in saying that, there's still steps that, I mean, I would like to say we have to take, but I would say steps that we can take to get there. Um, and that if we expect to see things happen, um, maybe a certain way, we expect to see things happen a certain way and sooner, then we would probably need to take certain steps and be more intentional. And I think that's somewhat the spark that I've kind of, I guess, come across, like the new spark.
Yeah.
Like I want to make sure that I'm um, appreciative of the opportunity that I have in front of me,
Yeah.
um, which is this moment today, but it's also tomorrow. Like, sometimes we get so caught up in existing in this space and time and in this moment that we forget to realize like the vision is like what is pushing us forward if we have that.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have to like tomorrow is an opportunity. If it's something that's been deposited in our spirit, like we have to, believe in that and do the necessary for the tomorrow
Yeah.
to become, or to become who we see in our tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's like that's somewhat of the new spark, I guess you could say. Which leads me to my segues to me to our
Okay.
next. um so question, do you feel like you can ever miss, I guess, a window of opportunity? Like, is it ever really closed? And maybe a better way to phrase that is there really a such thing as missing your opportunity? Thought I had earlier this week, but
Mm-hmm. Wow. Whenever I get asked questions, I get a little nervous.
I can give some, why you think.
But I would like to try. I think I'm ready to answer and I want to go.
Okay.
So I think that we don't, I don't know that we miss opportunities. I feel like we let opportunities pass us by. And I think that so long as we have the desire still in our heart, I feel like the opportunity is still there. But if we give up, then we do let the opportunity go. Now, I do think that there is a space within ourselves where we have to actually determine if something is still is really like a desire, which is why we would like want an opportunity.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Um, so I do think that's important, but essentially to answer the question, no, I don't think we miss them. I think what happens is we either give up or we stop believing in it, or we never decide that we're actually going to cultivate the habits and do the things that we want to do so that we can get to the opportunity, being that the opportunity is like literally already there. Um, so I think it's the case where people are saying something that they've grown in age
Mm-hmm.
and they're saying they still want to do something, and it's like you literally still can
Yeah.
do it,
Yeah.
but you let it go. The opportunity in and of itself to me is not gone.
I agree. I mean, that's a very practical way to put it, the way you just ended it. But you said a couple things there that are major. But obviously, if somebody is having increasing doubt because time is literally passing years and they're getting older and they
Yeah.
believe less and less, I mean, the time factor, one could say like, well, yeah, I mean, it's not the opportunity wouldn't even be the same, or the possibility wouldn't even be the same if years have passed. But really, is it just your faith diminishing over time? Because, like you said, somewhat like your actions are dictating like the faith you even have. Like you haven't been doing that thing, or you haven't gone for that thing, or you haven't,
Yeah.
you know, your actions haven't backed the fact that you believe that you can even do that thing, or that that opportunity is even real.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really it's not just the time passing in and of itself, it's what you have or haven't done with that time, you know.
Exactly.
But I think what you said is a major key as well, as far as desire is concerned. Like if somebody, if I don't desire to do something, I mean, odds are, I probably won't go for that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we have to define desire too. Like really, what does desire truly mean? You know,
Yeah.
obviously there's a definition and there's probably multiple variations, but sometimes I think we like to look at desire as like what we really feel like we want to do, like on some emotional, romantic kind of level of how we want to do it.
Let's get into it.
But I think you funny. But I think at the same time, um, it can also be something that we've determined as like that's for us, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you see something as being for you, like how could it not be a desire?
Mm-hmm.
Like your mindset has literally attracted you to the thing that is, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's presenting itself to you as an opportunity,
Yeah.
as opposed to us just looking at it as an opportunity because whether or not we want it or not, like
Yeah.
just on the surface level, like some things are really deeper than that. Like some of the hardest, most unforgiving maybe processes or paths to get to whatever the thing is, that we want, or the it, as
Mm-hmm.
we have learned it can be called.
Yeah.
um, I feel like those paths, those processes they're not just simply something that's on the surface, like, ooh, I want that. It's something that we've determined. It's much deeper. Like this is important because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or this is something that for whatever reason in my spirit I feel like it's calling me.
Yeah.
Not just like I want that,
Yeah.
you know. And I
Yeah.
think that's what separates,
Mm-hmm.
like people's destiny or their gifts even, or as we hear it called a calling, versus, not to reference what's the anyway, the show. But a calling from like surface level desires like money and
Yeah.
houses, cars, clothes,
Uh-huh.
flesh.
Yeah.
But anyway, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. I think to what you're saying, what happens also is we get so caught up in the desire of the thing that we want that we completely skip over the fact of like what the desire we want, who that requires us to be.
Yeah, I want to jump in
Jump in. Jump in. I'm serious.
because even you got a lot of energy tonight. But because even it's good though. But even we might stay up late tonight. Nah. Later is already the late night. But um, I guess just even how we look at an opportunity sometimes based on what we want, we we determine the size of the window and the
Yeah.
timetable,
Mm-hmm.
and we limit what's even possible. Like the possibilities are so much greater
Y'all
if we
said let's
don't
get
even.
into it. We in
She not even gonna let me.
it.
You weren't worried about shouting out ad libs.
We in it.
But anyway, y'all finished that sentence. But you know where I was trying to go. But nah, but yeah, that's it really. Like we limit things if we don't
Yeah.
truly allow an opportunity to present itself in a way that, we're able to see everything that's possible. Or we can't even really necessarily see everything at all at once. But
Yeah.
if we're just saying, well, I want that, we just limit it to that.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying like I'm open to the possibility of whatever it is that is for me, really.
Yeah.
And like if we, not to get too deep, but if we serve an infinite God, then we
Yeah.
we couldn't possibly um miss an opportunity that's ours.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's why me saying what I'm saying about just um sorry, I lost my train of thought really quick.
It's a
Um
midnight train.
yeah, it is.
Catch it.
It is. I'm about to catch it right now. um what I said earlier about just stepping into this new person and embracing these things
Hmm.
is important because
I mean, you have to grow into who you are, right?
yes, you do.
Because I mean, I said new spark. You said invigorate. I mean, I feel like those are along the lines of, when you step into that newness, if you will, like you
Mm-hmm.
start to see the endless possibilities. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's where you were going with it, but
I think I'm trying to tie it back into just the simple fact of like, I mean, you said it, but it literally us having a lot to do with what the what that window of opportunity is.
hmm
Oh, and this what I was gonna say. It's because like me thrusting myself into the new environment or doing the task that makes me the most nervous
Mm-hmm.
is because like the desire of me wanting this thing is one thing, but I can't literally like skip to
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be available to me as long as I'm willing to do the or take action.
Take the step.
Yeah. Um
Literally take the stairs. Work at it.
for real, for real. Um and I just think that we can't skip that part because
Yeah.
in skipping that part, we do shorten our window of opportunity. We gave ourselves 2 seconds and said we can't do it. Or maybe we thought we tried, but we also tried something one way so long and we refuse to try another way too.
Yeah.
And then as a result, we give up on ourselves in that way. Or maybe we do question, but we don't want to revisit. We don't want to revisit things and like look over it.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't do the thing you're most nervous about.
Yeah.
That'd be my advice. Meaning, envision that thing and envision yourself conquering that thing completely. But I would say, like you said, taking steps towards it. Because if you try to do it all at once, you know what I mean? It can look like, oh, that's a daunting task. I can't do that for somebody. You
No,
know,
that's the key.
for somebody else, maybe you can try it, and see what it even feels like because the thing you thought might not even be true. You know what I mean? You might get into that situation and realize you have a lot more courage than you gave yourself credit for. But so essentially, trying, I think, is a necessary component. But don't try just to say like, "Oh, I tried," and you give up. Like, I mean, if anything, if we're gonna use that word, like let's redefine it. Give it new meaning and actually do it. Actually do the steps necessary. Like, don't. We can't play ourselves into thinking like, okay, you're gonna take 1, 2, 3 steps and you're gonna complete 100-step process with 3 steps.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um,
And I want to pull that key out real quick that you just said because
I was driving. Yeah, listen,
because
we listening.
this is also where this is also how we expand our window of opportunity too,
Mm-hmm.
is in the way that we are thinking about the situation and what we're telling ourselves it is. Like I just said to you, me doing nervous to do a thing, but you rephrased it like not doing it nervous.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm confident. I'm going to be confident in doing this task
Mm-hmm.
because it is connected to like the end result or the opportunity or the
Mm-hmm.
desire that I have, and that's super important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, so yeah, the window is never truly closed, like you said. I agree. I never. When I say never with these extremes, again, this is like where my heart is at my best. I never think about a opportunity, something like that being over. But obviously, as human beings, when we experience different things, like we know um, that we can be tried by the circumstances that we're within or that are in front of us. But we have to, we gotta have greater faith in that. Like even if again your faith is the size of a mustard seed, like the Bible says, like you still gotta know like that's enough. You know,
Yeah.
I mean that's a principle that it shows itself true in this world, even with weather and global warming and, you know, people not caring about the environment or maybe just us developing bad habits, just because some of these things we just learned from those that came before us or we didn't learn certain things like seeds still grow and we're still able to eat, and plants still bloom every spring and this and that. So it's the same thing with our faith. Like if we just trust that those seeds are, that powerful. Um,
Mm-hmm.
those seeds of faith, our words, our thoughts, and just even having that vision, having like the ability to believe that an opportunity is for you and you're not gonna miss it. even.
Yeah,
Even if it looks like, oh, somebody else got that, that's over. Like God will make another way, or God will show
absolutely.
you another way. Again, like you said, you thought maybe that there's only one way to get there, and it's like, it's not only one way to get there.
Yeah,
And maybe this process is about more than you just getting to that platform. Maybe this process is about causing you to grow up or grow or,
yeah,
reform, reshape your
yeah,
thinking, your body,
yeah.
you know, your relationships.
Mm-hmm. I would yell, but
Yo,
I
we have,
won't. I don't do this on the
I don't want
microphone.
people, yeah, anyway. uh,
I want y'all mad at me.
I would just edit that out. Nah, I'm just playing. I had to turn it down though.
Oh man, but you know what? That's so good because I don't know if there's anybody out there that's like me, but I consider myself to be like I can do something cold turkey and like go a different direction. But if I don't treat that as a strength, it can be detrimental
Oh,
because just as quick as I made a decision to go in one way, I can literally fall back into the opposite direction just as fast because it's like a light switch. It's just like, oh yeah, on. I don't know, not feeling this today, off instead of yeah,
no, instead of what?
oh, instead of just on, on, like just keep the light on. And keep operating with light, essentially, if I'm putting it that way.
I mean, go ahead. I was just gonna say, with that gift of cold turkeyness,
Mhm.
I feel like if you just, you know, I mean, it sounds like not just you, but anybody that has the ability to do that. I think we might all have the ability, maybe just in different areas,
Mhm.
but I don't know if that's true. But I think for you, even like it would be understanding why stopping this cold turkey. I feel like if you just do it because you're like, I just want to stop cold turkey, but you don't really understand not just the quote unquote why, but like really understanding it for yourself and the meaning behind your decision.
Yeah.
I feel like if you were to do that, it would probably take you further. It doesn't mean that you would still never, you know, operate in human error or deliberate foolishness, but it's still, I feel like that's the difference, like versus just making like that decision quickly. Like
Yeah.
it's a good ability, but you didn't attach yourself really to like
That's good.
what
Let's
you. That's just
let's pull that out too.
huh?
we we gotta put no, I'm serious. You gotta pull that out too. Cause that to your point with that, that's what happens is maybe sometimes the literal decisions just like by themselves is not enough.
Yeah,
Attaching a positive reason why we're making that decision and standing on that, that is what like literally helps us.
yeah,
It's like, well, no, I didn't just decide that I want to stop being your friend. I love you, but I'm attaching like I want to build a positive environment to my reason for making this decision.
yeah,
So, and like that's what will help us to keep going. Not we know we made the decision, but now because we feel bad or something took place,
yeah,
we're going back on our word. We're going back on the thing that we said that we didn't want anymore, that we didn't want to do.
yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, yeah. I think it's also you teaching yourself too,
Mm-hmm.
giving yourself an opportunity to have a teaching moment and a teachable spirit. Like some of our moms might say, like, or a teacher might say that. But I say that because it's not that you're literally teaching yourself. Like God gave you the gift to do that, the
Yeah.
ability to do that. So if you're not patient with that gift, if you don't allow yourself in that moment, or in moments where you do realize, like, dang, I stopped cold turkey, then I, heated the turkey back up, and now I'm here again with cold turkey. Like, if you don't give yourself the space and time to think this through and realize what it is, like you won't even appreciate that God gave you that ability. And we won't, those of us who have the ability, if we do, I think everybody does in their given areas.
Yeah.
Other areas, maybe it's a different process, but the cold turkeyism, you just got to spend time with that. I think like that's the beauty of it because you have the ability to like go so fast,
Mm-hmm.
um, or change directions so quickly. So now you got to intentionally slow yourself down and say, I need to learn more about myself.
Yeah.
I need to appreciate more about what, the creator has given me
Yeah.
in this gift. That's just, I don't know, my
Yeah.
thought, but yeah, that's good. Cold turkeyism.
Yeah. You dropping gems tonight.
I mean, we throwing each other alley oops. I think
Yeah.
something to one of that. But nah, but I mean, seriously, you saying some good stuff. So you said in the beginning you were invigorated because you're basically, I would say, going down this growth path.
Yeah.
And for anybody who's going down that growth path, I mean, again, I said I feel like new spark. You said invigorated, and you used a couple other words.
I said refreshed.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. We just even think about using the internet, like, or or on our phone or whatever, like the Wi-Fi. Even sometimes we have to refresh things. Like sometimes you do need like a fresh look, fresh start, or even how you get to that fresh start or that refresh might be different for different people.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you press the button on purpose. Sometimes like you're forced to press the
Yeah.
button. Sometimes like I don't know, like it just refreshes on its own. You wake
Hey,
up and
this man is on
you
fire
wake up and
right
you feel
now.
you wake up and you feel different. But
Yeah.
but whatever the case, when you get in that refresh, like you got to take it and go down that path of growth.
Yeah.
And you might land at a cold turkey.
And yeah, I really like that analogy because even in that we can still look at what is happening.
Yeah,
Like you got too many tabs open. You
yeah,
got too much stuff on your mind. You got too much things on your plate.
yeah.
And we have to simplify and narrow it down.
Run with it. Run.
I'm running already.
Nah, but
um
yeah, that's real though. Yeah,
and so like you said, by just being able to notice that, or whether you make the intentional decision or you're forced into it,
yeah,
like um I don't know, that was just a great analogy.
yeah. So thank you. But I'm going off of you. So yeah, you're permeating this right now.
Y'all, listen, he brought us a great question at the beginning of the podcast. Your window of opportunity is not closed. You need to look inside of yourself and ask yourself, at what point or where did you stop having faith in the desire that was put in you? And why are you thinking that way? So
So that what? So they can have the outcome that they want to have, right?
so yeah, you need to reassess the mentality that you're approaching this desire with, because
Yeah.
you can absolutely have it.
Because sometimes I think we get to that place where we want to look within. Maybe some people don't know how. Maybe others of us we know how, but you know, maybe we just feel like it's a daunting task to get anywhere for real. But I think people get to a point where they stop, and it's not just cold turkey. They stop the process. They don't finish the process.
Hmm.
So yeah, like looking within, everyone that's on here tonight with us, like look within, but don't stop there. Like look within, see what you find, bring it to the forefront, bring it to God. You know, the people in your inner circle. Um, I don't know, just seek accountability, like we've spoken on in the past, and just try to get through the steps, the 100 steps, or however many it is. But try to get through the 3 step. Try to get through the 1 step. But like you gotta behold something. You gotta have, something that you believe in that big enough that it does, make you feel invigorated, you know. But don't let it make you feel small. Like don't feel too small because it only takes, like we said before, a small seed to grow into, the thing that God, sent you to be.
Yeah. Yep. And for those of you who recognize that you still have that window of opportunity open, keep going, don't quit. For those of you, everybody listening, keep going, don't quit, and keep operating with that level of patience and that faith and belief in what you're doing and where you're going. As I always like to say, when you move with purpose, you do not have to rush. But once we lose sight of that and we are no longer beholding the vision or the purpose, the opportunity, the desire, like you just mentioned, we do start to feel like we do have to rush and the window of opportunity is closing and we don't have time anymore. But we do. Um, we do.
Well, you heard it here first. It's another late night podcast. Have a good night.
Good night.